ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ryugo. I'm back again with part 2 of our Bronze to Masters series. I'd like to thank everyone for the comments they made so early on my last video. I didn't think it was the best made video, but thank you for the support. I do know some of you said that the content could have been a little bit confusing and possibly too hard to follow for a Bronze League player, and I completely agree. I'd like to touch on the things that matter in StarCraft 2 when it comes to learning the game, and the small things you should understand when approaching the learning process. So typically StarCraft 2 can be divided into two aspects. There is the macro aspect of the game, spending your money and creating stuff, and the micro aspect to the game, which is controlling your stuff in order to use it to win the game. Typically, the more important of the two is your macro, aka your macro management. So to really iterate on this point, I would like to show you that through good macro, keeping your money low and spending it as often as you can with a high economy, you can accomplish quite a lot and still win games in lower leagues. So for this game, I'm going to be using the example for this by going completely gasless and just making Marines this game. So what that means, we'll just be making Marines, there won't be anything else, and hopefully we're gonna win still on 2 base with just, like I said, Marines. So remember, every game, set your camera hotkeys, do your 1-1-1. Since we're going gasless, we're not going to grab anything for a little bit here. This does mean that our command center at the bottom here can come down earlier. I wouldn't recommend doing this build if you're learning the game, as this will just be kind of an example thing. We are against a Protoss, but it's still good to know that you can play like this. So if I recall correctly, just off of memory serving of the economy, you can drop this CC down just with this SCV when you're at 16 and a 16 here. However, your next SCV is kind of going to be doing nothing. So he's just going to chill right over here. We're going to go Marine, Orbital. We're going to start with the Orbital first though, because the Marine builds faster than a Reaper will.
Not enough
so we're okay to go for that.
Not enough minerals.
With this SCV here, we can just have it chill, and he can throw down a supply depot. And because we're doing gasless, we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab a bunker. So once this SCV building a depot is done, it can head over to here. It's Marine number 1. We'll make Marine number 2 immediately.
Command center
We'll drop
upgrade
our
complete.
mule and another SCV, and we'll make barracks number 2. We'll throw down our bunker, and we'll have another SCV go over here, Marine, and this guy over here will go ahead and make bunker barracks number 3. And then we'll just rally it down to the natural. Reminder, the natural is the term we use for your earliest and closest base. We call it a natural because it is the natural expansion you are soon to take. I think. Pretty sure that's why they call it that. Honestly, I don't really know. I always thought that was the reason, because, you know, that makes sense, but fuck you. Anyways, moving on. We can just have a Marine sit in this bunker here. At some point, we're going to want to scout. So what we can do is we can have this next Marine just walk over across the map. Marines are pretty handy, and they're pretty cheap. Sometimes you can just fucking send them out, literally walk them across the map, and that can be a reliable scout.
Command center upgrade.
We're going to go and throw a supply depot here. With this next SCV coming out, we're going to go ahead and build a third command center.
Not enough minerals.
Oops, I need you to go across the map. The rest of our Marines will just kind of chill at home.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
Now you can see, as our money goes up and we're not able to keep it below 150, that means we can afford to build another barracks. Typically, that's how you should be playing the game with a macro understanding. If you're floating money on basic production, it means you can typically afford more, unless you are saving to perhaps tech up. So, it's 3:45, we're still floating after our barracks are made, so we'll add an engineering bay. The engineering bay can be used to make missile turrets, even if you're not getting it for upgrades. Very useful. So we see our opponent does not have an expansion, but like last time, a lot of pylons and a lot of cannons. So he's probably playing a very slow and defensive game. That's fine. Cannons are very bad. They do not move, so they're very easy to deal with. So we're oversaturated on this base, so we're going to start sending units to the new base. We'll build a missile turret here, a missile turret here, and a missile turret in front of where our third base will go. We'll lift up our CC, and we'll continue producing Marines. We're going to be going on to 3 base, so we're going to start adding more barracks. We can probably afford about 8 at this point. Oh, you know, remember, we gotta build supply depots. I'm now going to go over the concept of the wall. The wall is a pretty simple idea. We build it in our main base. We're kind of missing one here because there's no add-on, but you build one in your main base. You usually build one in your natural. You can build one through here, and you always want to build one at your third base as well. And the wall just kind of acts as like a deterrent for melee units. As you can see here with Building Grid, we can easily create a structure that prevents melee units from passing through, and when we need to, we can just lower one depot to get through. Very useful to know. So, we have our third base down and our third orbital. We can throw a scan. We see he's got a Twilight Council, and he has +1 shield armor. We can tell by selecting his unit. So +1 shield armor is a big mistake, as it usually costs significantly more than, say, regular armor. And most Protoss units actually have more HP when they have shields. So it's kind of a waste for them to get. Anyways, we'll continue making Marines. And we'll grab a 4th CC now, because, again, we have a lot of extra money. Or this depot here. Drop down more supply depots. And we'll leave right about now. We have a pretty decent Marine army. So let's throw down a scan. We see he only has the cannons here, which means the best way for us to engage is to probably go here, through here, up to the ramp here. All of these cannons are supported by 1 pylon, minus this one, which is supported by 2. So, we can scan again. That means if we go and we take out this pylon, killing this pylon will be a breeze. We also see he's still upgrading, and he's going Stargate tech. This is the usual tech path in lower leagues. Honestly, the trick is just make Marines. These things like literally shit all over Stargate units. Floating a lot of money. How do we spend it? Lots of CCs. Okay, we're here now. Let's walk up the ramp. Remember our strategy. We can start off this fight by killing this 1 pylon. And we can focus down these 2 cannons. He doesn't have an expansion, so if we kill all the workers here, that will no doubt win the game. And we'll just chill here. We don't want our units to vent through here, so we'll go here, here. We'll send over to our 4th base. These 5 SCVs will make 5 more barracks. And we'll just chill here. Killing this Nexus is the biggest thing we can do this game. We can also see we have a little bit of an edge range, so we can shoot this pylon and slowly make our way to this pylon and this pylon, and I'll disable his cannons there. His Nexus is now down, and we see he has a Stargate building here, and he has a Dark Shrine. Oh, no, that's another cannon. We're just going to turn off this pylon right here, and that'll stop him from rebuilding. And honestly, that's really all there is to it. Make another orbital, because orbitals give you money. Orbital, orbital. Orbitals also give you scans, so they're just convenient to have. And spend your money pretty easily. You can see we have a huge Marine reinforcement here, just from making units back at home. We're just honestly trying to make sure there's always a dot underneath these barracks. And we're always dropping our mules as we can. We drop some missile turrets. Remember, when you have extra workers, you can send them to your newer bases. You can see our money is just always going up. For people who don't know, a mule mines 240 minerals over its lifespan. Let's focus this pylon. It's the only thing that's really holding him up here. And if you can see, the pylon goes down, the cannons go down. I didn't see the one over here, but it's not like this one's really that much harder to kill. So keep sending in our reinforcements. Extra workers here.
Not enough energy.
Build a new CC. And that should really just be game. I don't know why our opponent's staying here, but they may have a secret base. There we go. There it is. So we can grab the second army
Are under attack.
and send it over. This is another typical strategy you'll see in the lower MMRs, is players will often go for ninja bases. These are bad because you'll never really recover, but the trick is you grab 4 marines, you click here, hold shift, click once 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 here. And you don't use F2. We'll grab another 2, hold shift, click right here, hold shift, click right here, scan, he doesn't have anything here. So the rest of our army can go up through here. And that should be it. Okay, there you go. You can win with just pure marine here. Reminder, we have 0 gas, not a single gas geyser. And the trick is, we just made marines and we made sure something was always being made. You can see we're still maxing out just a minute later than I guess you would have if you did a standard build. You can see he has no ninja bases alongside here. Maybe he could have had some there. Well, actually, we'll check right there with one of our new orbitals. It's another reason why you make a lot of CCs. Lots of orbitals is sick. Okay. Moving on. This works in TVZ as well. You can possibly win with just pure marine. However, I think the easiest matchup to do this in would be TVP. Just because early game Terran has a lot of pretty effective clears, I think. For an example, Terran has siege tanks early game, and Zerg has banelings early game, whereas Protoss, their early game splash is not really a thing. Their splash is more so in the late game, with their early game units having high single target damage. What I mean by this, let's think about it. The Colossus is a tier 3 unit. The Archon is a tier 2 unit. And the High Templar is also a tier 2 spellcasting unit. So it's a little bit more expensive to afford. Anyways, if you're not convinced just yet, we'll do one more game where we're just going minerals only and winning games. Minerals only is in marine only. Remember to set your camera hotkeys. We're going to do a slightly different build here. So, because we don't need those extra marines super early on, the way we're going to modify this is by going for a build called CC first. With this build, the idea is you skip your first barracks and go for a second command center first. This is a pretty greedy build, and honestly, it's not as good as it used to be back in HOTS if you're familiar with the build. It was a 14cc, but it's still kind of decent, and it still does, I guess, the desired effect. But it's we're just gonna do it for a different showing of how you can possibly better optimize a style like this. Because early on, a few marines isn't gonna really do much for you.
Not enough minerals.
So drop down the CC after rallying it after the depot's made. This is called the CC first at 17 out of 23. And now at 18 out of 23, we send an SCV over. He makes the barracks. We make one more worker here when it's at 16 out of 16. And this worker is the one that goes and scouts for us. The next worker we make is rallied over here to build another barracks. Let's hotkey this worker. We're doing this type of an early scout because we don't have a Reaper, and like I told you guys last time, in TVP we wouldn't SCV scout unless we Reaper scouted, but in this game we're not really Reaper scouting. So, suffice to say, this is how you want to do it. Scouting is important. Always try to figure out somewhere to scout. We'll make a third barracks here. And we're going to rally the SCV here, this SCV here. We can see, okay, he's doing the same thing as the last guy. 2 cannons already. Basically a waste of his fucking time and money. That's okay though. We'll do double orbital command center here. And we'll begin marine production. Since we know he opened cannons, we'll just have this one marine look around, just in case he may have proxied a building. We're not really too worried about him sending out an early unit, just because we already know he can He started the game out spending his money early on cannons, 2 of them. So we can just have a Marine, you know, go out and look around for possible proxies or cheeses that may be going on. So we'll just have it on A move, checking around the sides of the map. We'll throw down another depot here. Remember, 1 SCV at a time, 1 Marine being made at a time. You never want to queue up too many just because that's a lot of wasted money. Imagine if we queued up like this.
Not enough minerals.
This is really bad, because if we cancel a bunch of them, we actually have enough money for a 3rd CC. So, it's important that you don't over-queue.
Not enough minerals.
It's kind of a beginner move, but it's good to establish early on that that's bad. Let's throw down our engineering bay and our supply depot, and we'll continue looking around the map for a possible hidden base,
Not enough minerals.
like last time, or just hidden tech. Something you can do on the side, if you just have like a Marine here, you can control it via the minimap.
Additional supply depots required.
Remember, we're constantly making 1
Additional
depot at a
supply
time.
depots required.
Since we're beginning to float some money, we'll grab 2 workers,
This better be good.
and we'll build 2
Not
more
enough
barracks.
minerals. Not enough minerals.
Marines are cheap, so we can take 1 and just send it across the map. And this, Marine can just check to see if he's added more
Additional
cannons,
supply depots.
or if he's
Not
perhaps
enough minerals.
started creating units. This Marine here can check and chill at his 3rd base. This will just make sure that we'll know when he establishes it. Again, we're still floating some money, so we'll drop down 3 more barracks.
Not
This
enough
is done, so we'll make
minerals.
an orbital.
Not enough minerals.
Okay, we see he's actually expanded his cannon count. That's good to know. So, if you can't really scout with the Marines, what you can do, you take a scan, click that main base, we see Twilight Council, Robo, and Stargate, and he's probably getting shields. He's also doing the Brood War micro tactic, where he rallies to something that isn't his gas geyser. A very useless tactic to say the least, but a tactic nonetheless. Okay, we'll begin rallying to our now 3rd base. Let's set up our missile turrets, because we see a Stargate.
You gonna give me orders?
We'll grab our units here.
You gonna
We'll
give me
establish our rally point somewhere here
Not enough
at this depot. So whenever we need to grab a unit, rather than possibly grabbing SCVs, we can have them rally to this building here that will never move. And because you can't box select a building, unless it's the only thing you select, we'll always grab units. So, good to know.
Not enough minerals.
So I'll show you what I mean in just a second. Let's say we need to grab army, we go to our camera hotkey, 3rd base, we go up, units, grab. We see here on the minimap, he's trying to build some stuff. This is no doubt his 3rd base. So we can take our units now,
Not enough.
and we can gather them up for an attack. We see a Void Ray. Very classic unit, a very
Not
well-known
enough
unit in the lower
Not
leagues.
enough
The Void Ray is really shit, needless to say, against most Terran units, especially the Marine. So we'll start up our 4th CC, and we'll go for our first attack. Again, it's just Marine, so we're not going with any upgrades or anything. There's no real timing here. It's just we have units. Let's move. Cannons are not built. We can do this because we left the Marine there. So we'll just go in. We'll kill his CC, his Nexus, sorry. And okay, that's a lot of damage done. That's 3 cannons, 150 times 3, a pylon, 100, times a probe, 50, times a, well not times, but plus a Nexus. It's a lot of money lost. Okay, we're floating a lot of money. So what do you do here? CC, CC.
Not enough minerals.
It's really quick, you don't need to watch your units fight. You can just focus on, you know, dropping more
Not
mules,
enough
spending your
energy.
money, doing literally anything better. We don't want to fight this cannon just because it's kind of useless. And we see we've broken through his defense at this point. So, we grab our new Marine army, and we send it in. And we just want to go for probes here, because killing workers limits his income.
Not enough
Low income
energy.
means it's harder to come back in a game. We're gonna add more barracks. We'll drop our 4th base. Typically you take the sideways 4th base, but whatever. We've lost a lot of workers now, and he needs gas to make his Void Rays, so that's all well and good. And we can go in with this new Marine army. just kind of massacre him.
Huh? What's going? Big job.
Make a new orbital. Oh, there we go. And let's quickly return to game.
Who wants some?
We can, actually, let's go to the rewind here. That's probably better. We can see, just based on his money, he doesn't really have much. His income's low, his money's low. We actually killed a lot. Cannons are rather expensive. And even though they have great stats, they don't really move, so they're really useless. And let's look here. We can see, like I said, he probably went shields. Shields are fucking worthless. If you're a Protoss player and you're trying to learn Terran, but you're also like just trying to climb the ranks, I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't bother with shields. It's a lot more expensive in the resource you need the most, gas, and it's also a lot weaker, because as I said in the last game, Protoss units have more HP most of the time than they do shields. The Stalker has even. The Zealot is like 100 health and 50 shields. The Archon, which is the only, I guess, solid argument you can ever make, is like, what is it, like 50 HP, 350 shields? You only grab the shield upgrade in the late game when you have so much extra money that you just need to spend it somewhere, and any edge will help.
Not enough minerals.
Or
Not
if you're
enough
back.
minerals.
Anyways, moving on. We're going to be playing another TVP. A lot of TVPs today.
Well, butter my biscuit.
And
Not enough minerals.
this time I'll show you guys an example of a very
Not enough minerals.
fast aggression build.
SCV ready.
So, in this game, we're going to be going for
Not
something called
enough
gas
minerals.
first. This is where you grab your gas immediately on 15 supply. This is a variant of
Not
Reaper
enough
Fast
minerals.
Expand. This is the gas first
Additional
variant.
supply depots.
And then we grab our barracks. We call it
Not
gas
enough
first because we
minerals.
grab the gas before
Not
the
enough
racks.
minerals.
Unlike the other variant, which is 1616, we call that one racks first.
Not enough
Because it's
minerals.
barracks and then gas.
SCV ready.
The general advantage to opening gas first is you have a little bit of extra gas,
Our
which means a lot of
SCVs
extra tech.
are under attack.
Okay, so if they ever do something like this, you just grab 2 workers and you have an 8 click on their probe.
SCV ready.
When it loses its shields, you send the second SCV back, and you just leave the SCV here. And then when it goes down the ramp, you just chill it here, because it always comes back up.
SCV ready.
Okay, we see 2 workers. This is a cannon rush,
Roger.
so we send 2 workers per probe.
In the rear.
We check the bottom here. Okay, that's the first pylon. 4 SCVs per building.
SCV
That's the
ready.
rule here. We make a marine, and we wall off. As long as we have a wall here, he can't really get up the ramp. So that's actually the build held.
SCV ready.
And we'll just kind of micromanage this SCV to walk around.
Go ahead.
We'll let him in real quick.
Huh? What's going on? Coming through. Yo, you gonna who wants some?
Okay, he's building more pylons. 4 SCVs per pylon.
What's going on?
We'll go ahead and build our
In the
factory.
rear with the
Command
gear.
center upgrade complete.
We can see he has another pylon below ground here. Doesn't really matter. We just keep the wall raised.
And ready. Go ahead. Bad news. SCV ready.
And that's the cheese held. In case you were wondering how to hold cannon rushes from last game when I said I wasn't going to really talk about it, well, fuck you, this is how.
Bad
It's typically the same. 2 workers per pylon, 4 workers per building. You always focus the cannons before the pylons.
Who wants
Okay.
some?
He's not breaking in here. We can just chill. Behind this we're teching. When we throw down our starport, we'll grab that next gas.
What's going on? Go, go, go. In the rear.
We're gonna go tech lab. Gas.
SCV ready.
Now that we have 4 marines, we can make a reactor. 4 marines is a pretty safe number. We're floating a little bit of money, so we can afford our CC. We'll just throw the CC, say right here. We're gonna lift up, we're gonna make another tech lab.
SCV ready.
I'll explain why in just a little bit. Okay, so we know he's building stuff here, and we know he tried to go for a cannon rush. So, this likely means he's invested most of his money on our side of the map. So, one thing we can do to punish this is we can go for a stealthy unit known as the Banshee. And at home, we can just make marines and
Add-on
siege tanks.
complete.
So we're gonna go 1 Banshee and cloak.
Add-on.
We'll start
Not
up
enough
a
minerals.
single siege tank once we get the money. You can make a Hellion if you'd like here in the meantime, or you can just leave it blank. It's up to you, however threatened you feel. If you think a lot of zealots are coming your way, maybe nice to have that Hellion, because it does quite a little bit of splash. You'd be surprised how much damage it accumulates. We're gonna make a single siege tank here.
Gangway, coming through.
And go back to work production. We take a single SCV, lower these depots, and we'll just have it go down with a bunker. Just at the low ground here to secure natural. We'll have our Marines chill here. We'll have the siege tank rallied here. Actually, we'll have it go here first. Our Marines could have gone here and shot the pylon too, but that's okay. Now you want to route this Banshee so it goes this way, this way, this way, then to his base. This is just to hide it better. Because if he sees it, he can start a shield battery or a cannon. Okay, so we see at home here actually, he's going for an interesting strategy. He's just trying to vent zealots into our base. This is good. This is the benefit. It's okay, we lost the siege tank, we can just still kite at home. But we see he's trying to make cannons here. So, simple kiting, use your Marines, send the Banshee in, send Immortal, that's fine. Okay, we leave the Banshee here, and that's it. We'll make a Viking, because we know he has a War Prism now. Add a depot. The siege tank remains sieged right here. The Banshee will stay on patrol right here. At home, he's losing all of his income. There you go. That's the game. Note here, he doesn't have any cannons here because he's defending here. And if we look at the rewind, he's not gaining much more money. And with all of his units, he's not really going to break this. Now, had we have actually just sent the Marines this way, we probably could have killed this a lot earlier or seen this. But that's okay. This is a learning in case you did not do this. We now know what the correct response is. We go 2 Banshees because, let's say they had a shield battery. 2 Banshees will always one-shot a probe or drone, but not an SCV. Actually, no, I take that back. They will 2-shot an SCV, I'm pretty sure. But, what am I thinking of? That's a depth, sorry, that's a depth at 3-shot SCVs. After the 2 Banshees, though, we would typically go for a Raven, you know, just in case they go DTs. But in this case, we go for a Viking, and we don't want to send it too far, just because we want it to ward off this War Prism. Because let's say he had a bunch of Zealots here, and he had the War Prism with 2 Immortals. He would try to drop it on the Siege Tank, and that would be really bad. With the Viking, the Vikings and Marines can ward off the Shield Battery and possibly kill it. This prevents him from having high ground vision, warping in reinforcements, or saving his Immortals. Good stuff. So, with that analysis complete, let's continue on. And, hell yeah, guys! We just went from Bronze 2 to Bronze 1. We're really climbing the ladders now. Now, if you were too busy following the video and you wanted another refresher, I'll quickly go over the rules again for holding a cannon rush. And I'll type it out here. 2 workers per 1 probe, because they'll usually send in 2 workers to do the cannon rush. 1 to distract you, 1 to place pylons. 4 workers per building. So if they drop down a pylon, 4 workers hitting the pylon. If they drop down a cannon, 4 workers hitting the cannon. If you really feel like you came to it late, you can do 5 workers, not 6. And you want to just kind of stop them from getting up onto the high ground as quickly as you can. If you can secure your high ground, they won't be able to shoot up, and you can just kind of stop them from getting up your ramp by having Marines to snipe any units. So, good stuff. Another TVP. I guess Protoss is very popular in the low leagues today.
Not enough minerals.
It is 8 a.m. EST for me. Still a pretty early morning. Woke up rather nicely, I would say. Had good rest in comparison to yesterday's video, which I apologize for if it felt a little low energy.
Additional supply
I had just gone back from my cousin's after spending it at his place the entire day.
Not enough minerals.
We didn't really get to show our aggressive build. We're gonna do that next game because I didn't do gas first. You can hold Cannon Rush easier with Rax first, by the way, in case you're wondering. But we're just gonna do Rax first this game. I'll do gas first next game. But yeah, my cousin's place. Quite a distance away from my house, really. It's about an hour drive, which to some people probably isn't a lot, but for me, I don't really do well sitting in a car for too long, so or just any vehicle for that matter. Even though for me to get to my school, I do have to take 2 buses, which are sometimes an hour each. Not a fan of driving. Okay, he's going for an SCV scout, that's fine. We just take 1 worker and smack it. In case you're wondering, you don't want to pull all your workers. Never be that guy who pulls all their workers. It's just not a good strategy. 1 worker, you just have an AFK here. Not a big deal.
Not enough minerals.
And people who say it's unfair that we have to pull workers to prevent them from like canceling or booking barracks, depots, stuff building, it really doesn't matter because we're going to take this SCV off here.
Complete.
We're going to make another depot, encasing him in. Doesn't matter because he's literally having a worker not mining this entire time, and this is sent quite early. So this is an income deficit for him. So we're going to just kill this, send the Reaper, as I said, to the natural. We're going to throw down our factory.
Insufficient.
We'll go for our
gas.
reactor, our refinery, marine control right here. Actually, we can have it go to the watchtower and then send it back. That's just kind of a map specific thing here. Okay, we want to check his natural right away. Does he have an expansion? Yes. So we don't need to bunker up. Does he have stuff over here? He does. He has 1 gateway, 1 cyber. Okay, good stuff so far, all natural. He has quite a lot of pylons though. Actually, this is a pretty standard amount. We'll throw in a single grenade, and we'll leave now, because he's starting to do something that is abusing our APM.
Insufficient Vespine.
Don't lose your Reaper, it's a scouting unit. Damage does not matter. Unless you can kill 3 probes while still spending your money, if you micro your Reaper, you're actually losing the game, even if you kill workers. And that's just because you're not spending your money, you're not forwarding the lead you have from harassing with the Reaper. So, you guys remember the rule from last time, we make 2 mines, a tech lab, a medevac, and we go in with a drop.
Command center upgrade.
That is the rule. Throw down a depot. CB here. Oh, excuse me, we're actually going to make a 3rd Widow Mine, because we have some time, and we're going to do barracks. Barracks.
Not
Keep
enough
making your marine
minerals.
army.
Not additional.
A safe place to rally your marines, in case you're ever wondering, is actually just over here, here, or here. And we do it in these places because they're choked, so let's say a bunch of zealots or shit came by. You can easily just have your marines go there, and then the units can't really get much of a choke. So let's go ahead and check out his natural and his main. Just shift Q it around and out. So he has Ascension. That's fine. We'll drop an eBay, a gas. We'll lift this up.
Complete.
We'll load up our medevac. We send it over here to here, and we'll go back to it when we have the time. Okay, our Reaper got out, and we saw he has a robo. We didn't see what this building was. It's Robo Bay, so that's usually for Colossus. And let's just get our Reaper out. Let's put our buildings onto here. Reactor, reactor. +1 attack. Send you over here. We see he has an observer here. We can see because there's like a little invisible thing moving here. Trick is to see it, you can move your camera up and down like that. That'll help you see it. What we do, we grab our units.
Additional supply depots.
We need a couple more depots.
Additional supply depots. Not enough.
We're gonna have to actually drop
minerals.
supply here, but we can check for where his observers just by zooming in and out. I don't see it at the current moment. So the likelihood is he probably left our base with it.
Additional supply depots.
Okay, remember we had a middle line drop. So we'll just take it.
Additional supply depots. Not enough.
Somebody, get me out of this mess.
Additional supply depots.
Oh, this is by all means not a Bronze League player. This is actually a Smurf right here.
Waiting on.
You can tell because he's immediately reacting to this stuff. This is not how a
Our
Bronze
forces
would play.
are under attack.
But it's okay, our basic plan will still work.
Not enough minerals. Not
Keep making
enough
units. We
minerals.
know he's going Colossus just
Not
because of
enough
his tech
minerals.
choice.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
We got quite a little bit of damage done there. That was a pretty decent mine drop.
Not enough minerals.
Gangway, coming through.
Not enough minerals.
It's go time.
We're gonna repair this medevac.
It's about to get heavy.
Not
We'll keep making our marauders. We'll get concussive shell right here.
Research. Not
More
enough
Widow Mines is always
not
good.
enough energy.
Widow Mines are a pretty reliable
Not enough
early game
power.
source of splash damage. Okay. We'll grab our army. This is a little bit of a late timing here. You typically want to hit with this type of push just before, or just at 6:30, but that's
Not
okay.
enough minerals.
And we're overcapped on workers, so we're gonna cut them for now. We see he went for a Phoenix Scout. We'll just kill that. Again, we're moving out with our army. And throw down our third CC behind this. We're going over to his third base because at his natural is a choke, so we don't want to go up that ramp. You always want to go from the safest and furthest spot possible without going too far, just to make sure your army is kind of safe. Okay. We're gonna have a scan here. We see he has one Colossus. We'll just move our units up, siege our mines, and we can just chill. We know he has an observer there. That's fine. Good Widow Mine hit. We'll just focus on killing his third base. And we'll go in when he's not looking. We focus fire the Colossus. If it's not working, we just walk away. Because he has a lot of sentries. That's fine. We still killed his third base. We don't need to do more. Behind this, 2 bears. Another gas. And we can see he only has 4 stalkers and his obs is out of position. So we grab these units, load, load, load.
Mineral field depleted.
Send them down here
In the pipe. 5 by 5.
into the main.
Your forces are under attack.
And we can control the watchtower right here.
Light flight.
We'll drop just outside of here.
Gangway, coming through.
What's going on?
Grab our extra workers. Okay.
Now what?
We can boost away here
Inbound.
into the main.
It's go time.
Drop a 4th. Drop another starport, a fusion core, more medevacs. Stim these marines in.
Get me out of this.
We can drop right on top of this Colossus right here and focus it. Any trade is a good trade. We have a couple units here. We can just try and grab a sentry or 2. This is what multitasking looks like. And since he's occupied over there, we kill a couple workers in here. We see a building forge, so we can snipe that up. These are kind of the more advanced parts of the game, but we're not against a player of low MMR, so that's okay. We can kill this fusion core, or this, Robo Bay. That will cut off his reinforcements for Colossus. We have a couple units over here.
Mineral field depleted.
We can just have them rallied over here.
SCV ready.
We'll do an armory.
In the rear.
Where's the emergency?
He doesn't have the watchtower vision anymore, so we can drop over here.
Your forces are under attack.
We can see he's going for a move out. We can force him to come back. We can force his stalkers to kind of come in here. Just kind of bait them out with this Widow Mine. No, that's fine. We can take this small force over here. And we'll just make Vikings at home. And we can send this drop over to here. We'll land our 4th base. We need these gases. This force didn't do much, that's okay. We'll run in with the force over here.
Mineral field depleted.
We're now managing our army, by the way, in case you're wondering if this is too fast for you, via the minimap. So we're going to power off these gateways because there's one pylon here. Efficient. We see he warped in some stalkers here. Marauders trade really well against that. So we're going to kill them quickly and boost out. And this guy is now being anti-smurfed.
What's going on?
Behind this, we're just spending our money, establishing our bases. We grab +2
Insufficient
attack.
Vespine gas.
Now what?
Insufficient Vespine gas.
This is typically how you would play the game in case anyone was wondering. I would say this opponent's around maybe Masters level, maybe.
Not
And
enough
with these next 2
minerals.
Vikings,
Not
we will
enough
have a good
minerals.
timing.
Insufficient. Not enough minerals.
Again, we're watching through the minimap.
Insufficient Vespine gas.
We'll grab our army. We'll scan his third base. We see he has no good upgrades. We probably canceled his first set. We don't need any more depots, so we'll grab another CC. We can start lib range up behind this.
Insufficient Vespine gas.
These units here, these reinforcing units, will be loaded up into a medevac and dropped here.
Ready to plunder.
Meanwhile, army number 1, our main army, will start to proceed to go forward.
Not enough energy.
By the number.
Whoops, that was a mistake.
Not enough energy.
Okay, we go in,
Can't hold him alone.
drop here. We're going for his fourth base. So again, we're not trying to engage too hard. We're just trying to kite out his zealots. We see a storm now. We're just going to kite into these Winamites. That's fine.
Ready for dust
We can start going for a Ghost Academy. Behind this, you need to realize that he's taking so much damage.
By the number.
And we see he's moving out this way. So we split a couple units off. We can just kind of split just outside of Storm. If you have a concave, they have to waste Storm and go into fighting range, which isn't very ideal for them. Load up into this medevac now. Drop over here.
Mineral field.
Remember, we're grabbing lib range.
What's going?
And that's all she wrote. You can see here, he can't really deal with this army here, even though he had a lot of storms. He actually had to make them Archons because he ran out of energy. You can also see his income was way, way weaker than ours, and we actually were floating quite a bit. In this case, we would just add a bunch of barracks, but I was more preoccupied on just showing you guys the small and neat techniques you can do, as well as commentating there. Anyways, likely a Smurf. We can go and view his profile. Yep, brand new account. Likely a Smurf. That's okay though, sometimes you get those. This is the same argument for me. Oh, he's inviting us to a party. No. Trying to play the game here, record a video. Sometimes you'll get a Smurf. Technically, I am the Smurf here. But, like I said in my last video, I think I brought this up, you shouldn't ever feel discouraged if you lose to a Smurf, or really feel annoyed. I can see why it would be annoying, but typically, the argument I've always seen is, think about a pro gamer. Let's use TY as a great example. When TY is looking to improve at the game, and he's looking for somebody to play against, he's usually looking for somebody just as good as him, if not better.
Minerals.
He's not really looking out for a bronze player. While some people find it fun to beat up lower league players, sure, it's kind of a dick move. It's generally a chance for you to improve, and you likely won't see that player too often because they're not at that level. Oh, Suzuki.
SCV ready.
That being said, if you do see a Smurf often, well, generally they're just a dick then, you know? Somebody who just really enjoys that MMR. It's usually an insecurity issue.
Additional supply depots.
The other thing is, if you really are meant to be at a certain MMR, let's say you just hit, say, 4,800 MMR for the first time, and you lose it to a Smurf. That's okay.
SCV ready.
You'll always regain that MMR again if you're really meant to have it. And if you don't get it again, then you have to ask yourself, did you really deserve it in the first place? Maybe you went up against players who got lucky or were boosted by... Well, maybe not boosted, but maybe got their wins off of perhaps cheesy strats or days where their opponents were worse than them.
SCV ready.
And by that I mean bad days. Everyone usually has a bad day. Also, this is a TVP. I'm sorry, I forgot to do gas first again. That is my apologies. I was too busy commentating there. We'll do it next game, I promise.
Ready.
We'll make a little sticky note somewhere. Anyways, same opener as last time. You guys know it by now, or rather you should.
Not enough minerals.
Again, that's... Well, write it down. 14 depot, 16 Rex, 16 gas, 19 Reaper, 19 orbital, 20 depot. Which, speaking of, 20 depot. Again, I have so many videos on my channel that just cover basic openers and builds. We always rally to the natural of our opponent, just because that is the earliest place to scout to see if they're cheesing us. We're gonna throw down our factory.
SCV ready.
I usually like to place my buildings in a straight line, just because if like optimizing your building order and your building space can be really, really nice in the late game. So we see as a pylon, nexus, we're just gonna walk in.
Big job.
SCV ready.
Forge, gateway.
On the way.
We see he's throwing down a cannon. He's not really doing anything. We'll leave our guy over here. Now he's moving in, so we're just gonna leave.
SCV
You
ready.
guys remember what I told you last time? You can have it sit there, but as soon as you see action, leave. Don't worry about it. 2 probes is already enough, 1 probe is enough. You don't need more damage than that. Focus on your macro at home.
SCV ready.
Add-on.
Like dropping your mule on time. Having your starport and Widowmine drop line up nicely. You can have it just sit outside here, really.
All
This
right.
will just check to see if he does anything forward or not. If he goes to make a cannon, our Reaper could cancel it perhaps. Unless he makes it in the back here. Anyways,
Command center.
we're gonna go for
Coming through.
2 mines because we know he's going for cannons. We saw one over here, so mine drop isn't gonna be as effective as we'd like it to be.
Big job, huh? SCV ready.
Again, we're making Marines, medevacs, units, the good stuff.
SCV ready.
Okay,
This better be good.
drop down 1 barracks,
Not enough minerals.
2 barracks,
SCV ready.
tech lab, another depot.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
What's up?
Again, we're always checking the bottom here, and looking at the blue bars on top. Tech lab as soon as this is done,
Add-on.
Ready for dust off.
lift off,
SCV ready.
eBay, next gas. Typically the next gas is lined up with your eBay, in case you're wondering.
Armed and ready.
Load up the Widowmine drop, send it over here.
SCV ready.
Add-on. Complete.
Lift up.
Big job.
When your barracks are complete, you'll see they always time out just in time to land onto these add-ons. So go reactor, stim, +1 attack, combat shields. That's the order. And we
Not
make
enough minerals.
4 Marines here, and then we'll start making Marauders. And we make 2 more
Ready for
SCVs, because we're going to be reaching our
Bad news.
our ideal amount of 45 to 46. We're gonna go 46 this game because we want a bunch mining. Actually, we'll stick to 40. 43 is good. We want this number because that's the amount mining. Plus, we have 2 guys building depots. So, Marauder,
Additional supply.
SCV ready.
Widowmine,
Additional
Widowmine.
supply depots
when we have the
required.
gas, we'll drop down some medevacs. We see here, we send some zealots out, that's fine. We have a Widowmine drop, let's send it in. See, he has units
Waiting
outside
on
of his
you.
base. So,
Taking up or dropping off.
cannons are in the back here, so we move the Widow Mines over here. They should be out of cannon range. Oh, that one wasn't. That's a shame. 2 medevacs now. Keep making your depots.
Somebody, get me out of this mess.
Your
Can we get that out?
forces are under
No, we
attack.
cannot. That's okay. Let's add our supply depots.
What's going on? I can't build here.
Sorry, our missile turrets, not our supply depots. Not to be
enough
confusing the
minerals.
2, sorry about that.
Not enough
Let's grab
minerals.
concussive shells here. And you guys know the
Research.
timing. When these 2 medevacs come out, we start moving out.
Mineral field depleted.
Ready
Depot,
for
depot.
dust off.
We'll grab our 3rd gas and resume SCV production.
Not insufficient.
And typically the correct
gas.
move here is you
Not
start
enough
rallying your new
minerals.
units to be picked up by this new medevac.
Research complete. Not
We'll always
enough
head towards his 3rd base up here,
Not
because that's
enough
safer than
minerals.
going through his natural, where he could
Not
cut our
enough
army off the
minerals.
force field.
Insufficient.
Or we can
Not
go the
enough
long way if we
minerals.
really feel
Not
kind of,
enough minerals.
in danger. Again,
Upgrade
have your army
complete.
fully chill up here. We can check our money, drop our mules,
Not enough
throw down a 3rd
minerals.
CC.
Not enough minerals.
Now that that's done, we can grab our units.
Research complete.
Actually, let's wait here.
Go time.
Let's grab this drop. Send the reinforcements to drop just outside here.
Armed and ready.
We can add 2 more
Not
barracks.
enough minerals.
1,
Not enough minerals.
2. And now we go in. 1 Widowmine siege, 2 Widowmine siege. Stim in. More Widowmines. We rally to our 3rd.
Wait.
We can have these changed to drop right here. We can grab these 2 guys over here.
Taking up. Light.
SCV ready.
More medevacs.
Not enough
More
minerals.
mines.
Your forces are under attack. Additional supply
We can
depots
stem up here. He's making a lot of cannons. This is never gonna work. This is really bad. You can see just how ineffective cannons are against an actual army.
Additional supply depots required.
And there we go. Let's go to the rewind. We can see here he tried to do too much stuff. We could have thrown in a scan there, but generally the timing is still solid. Let's take a look. So we arrived here at about, let's see, just 6:26, just outside our timing. We could have been a couple seconds faster. And let's see all he has. 3 sentries, 2 of which are here. 1 is here, 2 of his zealots are here. And 2 cannons, 1 of which isn't really in the fight. We could have actually just gone here, and maybe this one would have finished in time? Doubt it. We still could have killed his natural. Meanwhile, our army consists of 6 marauders. In this army it's 5. Actually, no, that's 4, my bad. And let's see, about 16 plus 3, 19 marines, 4 widow mines, and 2 medevacs. And they have, let's look at their upgrades, combat shields, stim-pack, and +1 attack. 3 really strong upgrades. At 630. That's just to show you, hitting your timing is really good. Going with your timing is really good. And we can see that was a Silver League player. We beat a person in a division above us. Mighty impressive. Okay, we have a TVT here. I told you guys I promised I would do an aggressive build, and it is TVT, but it isn't TVP. However, this morning I did, or the first game I did this video was a
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
gasless build of just going Marines. So we're gonna actually do the same thing because we only did it against Prolats. We'll do it against Terran. And I gotta say, we haven't seen a single Zerg yet in any of these games in this video series yet. I'm sure we'll see some soon, but we haven't seen any yet. Anyways, we're gonna do the Rax version of this just because it's another Terran player. He could be doing a Reaper strategy. So remember, against Terran you want to SCV scout. SCV scouting against Terran is important. You want to know whether it's proxy Rax Reaper, if they're double gas, or if the Reaper fast expand. If the Reaper fast expand, you can send your Reaper across. If they're double gas, you want to keep it at home. Emphasis on you can. Doesn't mean you should, it just means you can if the Reaper fast expand. Important stuff to keep into consideration. We're going to wait until 19 to throw down the CC just because we send an SCVO, and we want to have 16/16 mining at all times.
SCV ready.
This SCV can go here as well. They can actually both probably finish in time to make the
In the
CC.
rear.
So he'll just make the... Let's see, he'll just make the bunker instead. Okay, we go in, we see gas, barracks, it's a little bit late. So,
Bad news.
CC,
Go ahead.
bunker,
You're the boss. Big
and we'll
job.
send it home. He's missing a couple things here, so it's a little bit weird. So we can take this barracks, or this marine, and just have it kind of look around.
Command center upgrade complete.
Let's go. Huh?
We rally an SCV over here to build a barracks. This marine doesn't see anything in its scouting path yet.
Additional supply depots required.
Depot? Sorry, barracks is what I meant to say. My bad. We'll rally onto here,
SCV ready.
down to here. We don't want to over-access our mineral line, because that'll make workers jump. Remember what I told you in the last video, you can only have 2 workers per patch. So if your workers are bouncing to an open mineral field, rather than mining, you're losing money.
So this better be good.
Okay, we'll just go into our bunker. We'll drop down a 3rd barracks.
SCV ready.
We can make another depot right here to wall this off. Finish our orbital.
Huh?
Then we're just kind of chilling back here, dropping mules, making units. We'll drop down a 3rd CC.
Not enough minerals.
This video series is boring to you now, do not worry, I will get more advanced as we start to climb the ladder, but bear with me, I'm just trying to teach the concepts. Remember, looking at these blue bars, making sure at the bottom that there's always a white dot somewhere.
SCV ready.
And we're looking at our money on the top here too. Okay, I don't know what he just sent here, but it died. I think that was a Reaper maybe. It's most likely a Reaper, I don't know what else it could have sent. We're making a depot. Take 2 workers here. We always take from the mineral field that's new, that isn't full, because we don't want to bounce our already perfectly saturated main base. So we'll take 2 workers, we'll have them build 2 barracks here to go up to a total of 5. We'll build an engineering bay. 4 minutes is usually the safest and latest you can build one. We'll just continue dropping mules, continue making depots. You can see here this is a natural wall-off like I was talking about, sorry. Dropping those mules, we'll pull this one off because he's about to expire. Okay. We can start adding more barracks. Do a missile turret. And another missile turret. Nice rule of thumb. As your 3rd CC finishes, the first thing you want to do, if it's an orbital, which it usually should be, is you just throw a quick scan in their main base. Okay. Not bad. He's going Marines, tanks, and getting +1/+1. He's going to have a pretty defensive position. So we're going to have to wait a while, or play the long game out. Okay. Let's go over here, we'll lower our wall. Okay, we can just focus on our economy. Still making Marines. Floating a little bit of money here. So let's throw down 2 depots and a 4th CC. We'll take our units and begin to move them over here.
Not enough minerals.
Because our opponent has some sort of a possible timing window with his upgrades finishing, we'll leave a single Marine over here and one over here just to check if he goes for an attack. Oops, you go over. We'll send you a little bit more forward. And you can go over here. Depot. Continuously making SCVs, continuously making Marines. We can scan his natural. We see he's on 1 base. So economically, we don't have to attack him. We're ahead as it currently stands. The way to tell this is by saying, I'm mining off of 1, 2, 3 bases, and he is mining off of 1 fucking base. However, he could be ninjaing a base. So, go here, here, here. That's 1 Marine. Take another. Check here. Here. There you go.
Not enough energy.
That's the easiest way to figure out if somebody's, taking another base or not. Well, would you look at that? We did it. We found a secret base. Okay. So we're just gonna send our units over there, our whole army, because we don't want them to have that. This strategy is really fucking stupid. Just take your natural. You're not losing much. He's probably gonna try and lift this off. We're gonna kill it. Where did he fucking move it to? Did he actually move it all the way over there already? That's fine. We're just rallying our units over here. Look at that, we found another ninja base. We take this army over here. Send it over. Now we know where his money's going. By the way, if somebody's still on 1 base this late into the game, these are usually stuff or things you can conclude with what they're doing. You gotta wonder, where is their money going, you know? Anyways, we're just gonna kill this base off for free. That's nice. We have this army here. It's most likely gonna get this base.
Command center.
This army can go check around still. Make more depots. We're floating a lot of money here, so barracks.
Additional supply depots.
Still nothing over here. Plenty of tanks here. We don't want to break this. So we'll just route with this main army and we'll try and figure out a way to break
Mineral
here.
field depleted.
And you may be wondering, how do we break this impossible siege line? Typically you don't, because, you know, we're just fucking Marines without upgrades, but we can still try. Fails, we'll slowly advance our tech. Not by much, but just enough. We'll take some more expos. So 1, 2, 3. Grab all of our units. Straight them here. He has 2 bunkers. He actually went for building armor. Pretty useless. You don't really want bunkers, even though they're really cool. They're kind of useless, unfortunately.
Unacceptable command.
Okay,
We are at
we're maxed
maximum
out.
supply.
Let's throw it on a scan. We're gonna try a really cool technique here in just a second.
What's
We're
going
gonna make
on?
CC, 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 CC,
Unacceptable
CC,
landing zone.
CC.
Yo,
It's kind of a meme here, but you'll see in a second. Oh, the fuck is this?
Unacceptable command.
No,
We are at maximum supply.
what are you doing? That's mine. The fuck is this? Okay, he has +1 shields. The useless upgrade, really.
waiting on
We're still gonna chill out here. He's probably making more missile turrets. Oh man. He only has these 2 tanks. He's like literally not making anything. I don't know what he's doing.
Command center. Mineral field depleted.
I want this base though. It's
you.
mine.
Been waiting on you. Outstanding. This better be good.
Fuck out of here. Fuck off. Yeah. Anyways,
And ready.
when these CCs are done, you guys are gonna see an epic strategy. Surely the biggest brain of IQ play.
In the rear with the
Just in
gear.
case, we're gonna start mining gas. Just in case this fails.
Bad news.
We're gonna need all of these units here.
Want some.
In fact, we can go a little bit extra brain, so we can make a couple of these. And this isn't BM me putting it here. There's an actual purpose to this, I promise. There
Command
is
center
a method
upgrade
to this
complete.
madness.
Roger.
Okay. It's the building one that we can reach there.
In the rear with the gear.
Okay, we're gonna need orbitals. Orbitals, orbitals, orbitals. Let's quickly check around here. No new bases as far as I know.
We could use some help here.
Oh, shit, ow.
Armed and ready. You gonna give me orders? Go ahead.
You don't need to suicide your units in foolishly. There's a way about doing
What's
this.
going on? Huh?
That is,
Command center upgrade.
I guess,
complete.
acceptable in this
Yep.
Command
circumstance.
center upgrade complete.
Have some units.
Bad news.
Get in there.
Go
A
ahead.
pretty good SCV count of 68. Quite a lot of barracks. We're gonna need all of you. Okay, we have all of our orbitals. So here's what we do. Watch what happens with these siege tanks real quick. We're gonna spread out these widow mines, or these mules right quick.
Some help here.
And we're, okay, they kind of made it a few shots, so. Didn't work exactly as intended, but it's okay, they still work. Okay, and we're just gonna stutter step as best as we can to victory.
Mineral field depleted.
Okay, Marine Army 1 failed.
Our
that's okay, though.
SCVs are under attack.
Wait, is this a fusion core? I guess he's trying to go into BCs. Okay, he's now gonna try and move out. For obvious reasons, this is gonna fail because we have infinite amount of barracks.
This better be
I
good.
guess he's not watching. I guess this is the moment where he feels like he can move out. This is technically the right move by him, but not the right move.
Huh?
Anyways, we'll grab a factory.
Good job.
We'll actually rally the Marines back here.
Hey, boy.
His army is way smaller than ours. We have so much money.
What's going? Ah! He's here. Been waiting. Armed and ready. Who wants some?
We have these barracks over here and these units over here.
Go, go.
The reason for this is because we kind of want to force them into us around here.
Wants
I'm gonna just send these this way.
Game way.
He has +1/+1. Kind of hard upgrades to break, but still doable.
Command center upgrade.
Could use some help here.
If you look here, these 2 siege tanks are undefended.
Orders. Game way. Coming.
Okay. Now we're gonna go in here.
Go, go, go.
His army is surrounded and trapped.
Mineral field.
We can see here, he doesn't have much at home. He did macro. He got a little impatient.
Piece of me, boy.
We didn't really need these anyways. We didn't start any actual upgrades from them.
Coming through.
So,
You go, go, go.
Wow, is he actually gonna be able to keep that alive? That's kind of nuts. Anyways, we'll just keep making Marines anyways. We still have a lot of money. We're actually not losing. We can, you know, drop some mules here. 1 mule per patch is the rule. We can look around with our extra orbitals that we made for another ninja base. We see he does not have a ninja base. Surprising. And that's TVT. Where this guy literally went building a armor. And we still managed to, I guess, break his position. With, again, no real upgrades on these Marines. They don't have combat shield, they don't have +1/+1. This is the only thing we spent our gas on was this one reactor and this one starport. Anyways, this is the last video for today. Hopefully we have been promoted to silver off of this. But that will conclude part 2 of my Bronze to Masters series. Oh, we got an achievement there, that's pretty cool. Thank everybody for watching. The takeaway from this video, pay attention to your timing, be aware of what you're scouting, and just understand if you spend your money better than your opponent, you can literally just wait until you're 200 out of 200 and just keep fucking flooding them with units. That was the worst example for it, because usually you'd have better units there and you'd have upgrades. So maybe if we were +3/+3 by the time that first push hit, that would have gone way better. Or if we had tanks of our own, we could have, you know, just kind of abused the wall, shot it from a distance, maybe even gone mass BC. But I leave that to people to kind of use their own brain to figure out. You can see here, we lost our whole army, and then it still shot up again. Literally just because we had income. Resource collection rate, we had way more than him. Upgrade spending. Well, he's basically bronze GM, or sorry, silver GM, so that's unfair. Workers active. We were doing a lot with our stuff. We had a lot of bases, and we denied his bases. So, good stuff. Anyways, thank you for watching. Any comments, concerns, leave it in the comment section. And again, thank you for watching. I'm Ryu Gozrar.